All right, shalom, shalom. I'm gonna start this lesson off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. The honor to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone who rule well, whom I learn from. Peace and salutation to the elect. This is the brother Barak from GMS Tampa Bay, coming at you another lesson that I pray is edifying and exhorting. Outside at the park right now, it is a little windy, so I pray that this lesson is received and that is edifying. You know that the wind doesn't cut too much into it. Okay, and here's a article. I couldn't find the original one of when Trump made these statements, but I ended up picking this one up from MSNBC, and it says Trump encouraging Russia to attack NATO allies is as foolish as it is dangerous. Which, when you really get into the geopolitics of this, you can understand that is all smoke and mirrors, and it's ultimately all a facade, man. Because the scriptures speak about the least of the flock drawing them out. But at the same time, a lot of these NATO members is not down to join Israel's war, so to say, the Israelis, the false claimants that's over there in the land. But let's get into what Trump said. It says Donald Trump repeatedly threatened to withdraw from NATO when he was president, and we remember that from people that wasn't from those different nations that wasn't contributing to ultimately to America the way that Trump saw fit. Whether it's military aid, sending their troops, so on and so forth. Because what it is, America is that whore that rideth upon the beast. Okay, as it's spoken about in Revelation the 17th chapter. Okay, so this whore been on top. She want to control, because whoever's is the rider of the beast of the animal. If you ride a horse, whoever's the rider, you control the horse, you control that animal, that beast. So that's how America feel. They feel that they control the rest of the rest of their allies, NATO and the EU. But ultimately, it's the Lord. See, this is all the Lord is doing, and we're gonna get that in Revelation 17 because it's not America. See, Babylon the Great have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, man. See, he used this nation here to bring forth prophecy, man. Okay, and that's it. But guess what? At the end of that prophecy, pursuing the Revelation, the 18th chapter, thus what violence should that great city Babylon be thrown down? So Babylon is going to burn. Okay, so let's get back into it. It says when he was Donald Trump repeatedly threatened to withdraw from NATO when he was president, complaining that the post-war alliance was a drain on U.S. resources. So they're trying to make it seem like America's, putting all the money in and doing all the work, which really, yeah, America, does do, major importing, due to you Israelites that's over here in the land. But at the same time, the U.S. drain resources from all over the world. So what resources is the U.S. really kicking out? Okay, this place was built off of free labor, off of the backs of you so-called Negroes and Latinos and Native and Seminole American Indians, man. Had you out there on the plantation, okay, working in his field, building up his new world over here. Okay, you see, it says, but at a campaign rally in South Carolina on Saturday, Trump went considerably further. He said he'd encourage Russia to attack NATO allies that he felt were delinquent in their contributions to the post-war alliance. Right. So, like we was mentioning about, the Israeli-Palestine war. You have a couple of these the allies of the U.S. Not down for that. Okay, some are with it, some are not. But like the elders was just going into Elder Ariala from Dallas and the Elder Require Quam, was going into a lot of these different European nations. They just want to chill and build up their economy and reap their resources. They want to lay back and eat. Pretty much, they made ties with Babylon the Great, so they want to eat. They have become vassal states. That beast coming back up. They became vassal states to Rome once again. That the beast which was had a deadly wound, but was healed. Okay, so these vassal states, particularly the European states, countries, they just want to chill. Hey, but why? They can't, because prophecy must be fulfilled. Uh, let's just read this last paragraph. Says the comments were classic Trump. He demonstrated a misunderstanding of basic policy. He used the trappings of bravado to propose a reckless, destabilizing idea, and he contradicted his stated principles about war and peace. Hey, because ultimately he's a paid actor, man. Okay, and he's just here to push further division and to do ultimately the will of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. But the Lord is on his through his left hand side. Satan, you know, is dealing with the elites, man, to bring forth the NWO, which must be led by World War III. So they're all about war. Don't think that America and just put it like this. Don't think that these elites don't want war. Oh yeah, they want war. Okay. So now let's go ahead and get into some scriptures, and we'll jump to Revelation chapter 17, and probably have to jump around in this chapter a little bit, but let's start at the top. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. And as you go to the end of this chapter, well, let's jump down, and then we'll come back up. Revelation chapter 17, verse 15, he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, and that whore is America. Okay. Where that whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So what they use America to do, America is pretty much the police of the world, the police of the globe. Okay. Sitting upon many nations, the waters. Pretty much America's in control of the whole world, man. You know, which is ultimately, Esau, Edom, the elite. But this is the chief city. This is their chief modern day Basra here, America. Okay, this is where they push out their wicked decrees. Okay, this is their military, because that's how he ruled, is by the sword. So that's why he's able to sit upon these different nations, because of his sword, man. He has the military power, and that military power ultimately stems from America. But the whole beast system. But America is the one that's governing this beast. Now let's jump back up to verse 2, Revelation 17:2. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. And the kings of the earth are the different leaders of these different nations, man. Whether they be puppet leaders, they're still committing fornication. Why? Because the West, they raised the coup inside your ass in office, and here you are fornicating. You're fornicating with this whore. You're in bed with this whore. You're doing everything that she's whispering in your ear. Okay, with whom the kings have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. That wine is a representation of philosophies, her doctrine, everything that's adverse to the Most High. Hey, it started over here in the West, particularly here in America, Babylon the Great, and and they push that out to the four corners of the earth, and all you nations are down with it, man. Okay, all you nations are down with this war. Why? Because if not, they will remove your leader. They'll come to your land, strip you of your resources, and put a puppet leader up there, man. Okay. Verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And those 7 heads and 10 horns is ultimately going into the NATO and the EU. And this is that same beast that rose up. Let's go to Revelation chapter 12, verse 3. It says, And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. Right? So it said red dragon here, but what did it say in 17? I believe it said scarlet. Yep. Verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast. So this scarlet colored beast is the same beast, that same red dragon. Okay. It says, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, and those 7 heads, ultimately, going to the ancient Roman Empire, and to those vassal states. But Rome 2.0, okay, came back again, and pretty much those same vassal states. But in modern times, it'll be the Greeks, Germania Major, Germania Minor, uh, France, the Spanish, the French, okay, Rome, and Britain, okay. And we all know that out of the seventh came the eighth, okay, which is America, because America that was goes into an Isaiah what it say the four the foremost of the nations, you pretty much going to the last nation, which is America. America's stem forth out of Great Britain. Okay, so let's see where we go at now. Oh yeah, I want to go jump to Revelation chapter 13 real quick because it speaks about that same beast. Uh, let's start at 3, Revelation 13 and 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and that head that was wounded, it was Rome, and his deadly wound was healed. So what Rome ultimately was healed. You know, when it was wounded, that goes into the 1,000 years. You know, when ultimately the pagan Roman Empire fell. You know, and after about 1,000 years in that bottomless pit, which is Europe, you know, they arose again, right? It said because it said it was healed, and who healed it? Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai brought this beast back. Okay, going even back to the book of Daniel, that horn, that was more stout than his fellows. Okay, more proud than any other than any other than any of these other beasts, any of these other nations that have ruled the earth, and even more prouder than the Assyrians, more prouder than the Babylonians, right? And they had the fucking hanging gardens. It wasn't no chemtrails, GMOs, but that's why Esau Edom is so damn proud, and you know having that look more stout than his fellows. Why? Because he say that he can change the weather, he can create food year round. Okay, all these things. So he think himself to be a god. You know, Second Thessalonians, the second chapter. He sitteth in the temple of the Most High, calling, thinking himself to be a god. Okay, and that's ultimately because the Lord gave him this power. Revelation chapter 13 and 3, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Yeah, he came back and he conquered quick, man. You know, well, starting with the Ottoman Empire, you know, leading into the to Spain, coming back up, or you know, the Edomites of Spain, you know, then when they took over the British, you know, you had the Portuguese, you know, the French, but you know, started over there, and then as they made their way further west, what they came and conquered what they called the fourth part of the world, you know, the Americas, man. You see, that's why people they wondered at the beast because damn, here Esau done came back, and now they came back conquering faster than they did back then, you know. It says, verse 4, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who was like unto the beast, who was able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months. So the scripture say power was given unto him, right? So the only reason why, you know, you Edomites are ruling is because Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai ordained this prophecy from the beginning. That's why the book of Daniel is so heavy, because in Daniel the fourth chapter, what do it say? This decree. In fact, let's grab that real quick. Book Daniel, chapter 4, verse 17, and it reads, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the words of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men." You see that? Because the Lord, he has intervention throughout all lives. You know, from the great kings all the way down to the most minute person that you would think is upon the earth, all the way down to the ants, to the wind. You know, you read, I believe in the book of Exodus, when the Lord sent the locusts, he said, behold, I will send an east wind carrying locusts. So the Lord controls which way the wind blows and all, man. Call her law Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. But this matter is about the decree of the watchers, man. What? The Lord ruleth in the kingdom of men. This is all the Lord's plan. Ain't nobody doing nothing without permission from the Most High, man. Matter of fact, while we right here in Daniel, let's jump to chapter 7. Daniel chapter 7 and 9. Let's read it in the NLT. I watched as thrones were put in place. Who put these thrones? And that throne is a representation of rulership, different kingdoms. Who put these thrones in that place to rule? And the ancient one, Yahweh, sat down to judge. His clothing was as white as snow, his hair like purest wool. He sat on a fiery throne with wheels of blazing fire. Right? So the Lord set up these thrones, and he gave Daniel the vision, you know, starting with what? The head of gold on down, to the feet mixed with iron and miry clay. Okay? So this is all the will of the Lord. Now we're going to prove that in Revelation the 17th chapter. Back in Revelation 17 and 4. And a woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. So she decked out. She looked good. But, you know, her right hand is a right hand, how does scripture go? A right hand of deceit, a right hand of falsehood. Let's see if we can pull that up here. That wind is blowing, or willing. Blessing still come out edifying. Let's see here. Yep, Psalms 144 and 8. Whose mouth speak of vanity. In the right hand is a right hand of falsehood, man. You see? So his right hand is a right hand of falsehood. Let's get that word falsehood. Whoo, falsehood. That was it. Shaquar. Shaquara. Shaquar. It says lie, deception, disappointment, falsehood, deception. What deceives or disappoints or betrays one, right? And that's ultimately what he's going to do. He's going to deceive the masses of the world into receiving his mark, which is the MOTB. So that's another beautiful thing about all these prophecies that's happening and taking place is all going to lead to the MOTB. So even with Trump, so-called, advising Russia to attack these different NATO and European allies, man, they all want war because they all want the NWO. They all want to chip the masses of the people, man. Okay, because it's the elites that's running this, man. Okay, this is all smoke and mirrors, man. His right hand is the right hand of falsehood. We have a forked tongue. Scripture speak about let's jump back there to Revelation 12. No, Revelation 13 actually. Revelation chapter 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So those two horns been a representation of the bipartisan system, the so-called what is shit called, Republicans, Democrats. Back in the time of the Roman Empire, there was known as what? The plebeians and the patricians, man. Okay. So they come up like a lamb, but it's just two wings, same bird. Hey, make you think about what Second Ezra the 11th chapter. That eagle was a representation, of the Roman Empire. Those different feathers, contrary to one another. But what they end up attacking one another. But it was all that same bird. So that's the point I'm making. Those two horns, they trying to come up. They come to the people, like one side is for peace and trying to. It's just further to separate you people, man, because that's part of their ultimate plan. One of the oldest tactics of war in the book: divide and conquer. Okay, you see. But what he spake as a dragon, he's going to be coming down with these draconian laws, man. Something big is around the pike. So keep your eyes open. So back in Revelation chapter 17, and I want to hit on this, it says having a golden cup in her hand. So yeah, the cup may be golden, it may look good on the outside, but what is it full of? What's on the inside of that cup? It says full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Even Yahweh Shah said that they try to clean the outside of the cup instead of the inside of the cup. The inside is what matters, man. You see? So although these things may sparkle, like they say, everything that glitter ain't gold. You see, so you people have fell into this trap. You different nations fell into this trap. You know, becoming one with this beast. Hey man, this beast is about to be burnt up by our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shah Hamashiach. He's coming to overthrow. overthrow the wicked, man. Okay, and ultimately, you wicked Israelites, 2/3 of the nation, that worship this image and want to receive His mark, you're going to be put down as well, right? Let me see. Verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. See, this is the mother. See, this is where your harlots are born from. This is where these abominations come from. It starts right here, Babylon the Great, America, okay? And then they feed it off to you other nations, and you feed it to your people. You destroying your own people, man. Okay? Pushing that LGBT shit, right? Pushing all this wickedness, and it's a reward for everything. Let's grab that Galatians 6 and 7. Let's see here. Galatians, Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. You see? So there's a reward for everything that's been done. So for following after this beast, and you're going to receive the same reward as this beast, right? Okay, the same punishment, right? You're going to be burnt up, and if the Lord don't hit your country with these thermonuclear ICBMs, hey, New Jerusalem, the elect is going to come out of those chariots and lay you heathen directly into bondage, right? And then you 2/3 that don't want to serve the Lord, when we come back out of those chariots as well. If you don't want to serve the Lord, you will be slayed. The scripture say, "Bring him hither and slay him before me." Right. So let's keep going. Okay. Revelation chapter. Let's jump down. Revelation chapter 17, and I'll start at verse 9. And here is the mind which has, and here is the mind which have wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, and mountains is a representation of governments. Countries. Larger countries. Okay. Because you got the hills and you got the mountains. The hills would be like more like insignificant countries. Mountains would be like more powerful governments. Which ultimately is going back to these European nations, man. Those vassal states. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the women sitteth, right? But ultimately, what America ruleth over these nations. That's why Trump said what he said. He said Russia should attack those that's pretty much being insubordinate, or being delinquents. That they're not doing what America wants them to do, right? Why? Because the Lord, the Most High Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, ruleth in the kingdom of men, and pursuant to Ezekiel the 38th chapter, he have put hooks to the jaws of Gog and Magog, okay, which is ultimately Russia in its modern day time, man, right? And now they have a lot of interest in Asia Minor, which this world entity calls the Middle East. They have a lot of interest there, and now they're what? They've been a guard to these smaller nations, right? Verse 10, Revelation 17 to 10. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and one is, okay, so this is going to what was going to earlier, those seven heads. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space, right? So the 5 that were fallen would be the Greeks, the French, the Spanish, Germania Major, Germania Minor. And at that time, who else I'm missing? The French, the Spanish, the Greeks, Germania Major, Germania Minor. Is okay. That's the 5 that are fallen, and the one that is was Rome at that time, and the one that was to come would have been Great Britain. Okay, and say he must continue a short space because what Great Britain ultimately didn't rule too long. And the beast that was, and it is not, even he is the 8th. You see? Why? Because Rome came back. That deadly wound was healed. So it said, and the beast that was, and it is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. Right? So what? Rome went into destruction. Those 1,000 years in the bottomless pit. But what? Now that deadly wound have been healed, and Rome 2.0 is back. right? And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as of yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So as long as the America is spearheading NATO, some of these other countries, these lower level vassal states, they have uh, a so-called rulership, man, because really they're not in control of anything, man. You're just a vassal state. You're still taking orders. You have so-called freedom, but now that you're being delinquent, as Trump is saying, he say what? He believed that Russia should attack you. Okay, so let's jump down. Let's jump down to verse 16 now. Well, we'll read verse 15 again. We read it earlier. Let's read it again. It says, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Okay? So the allies of America is going to hate the whore, you know? And so it's something big coming up that the Lord is going to put the spirit upon your allies to hate you. And one of the things that is what Trump was just saying. He just pretty much told the enemy that they should attack you. And don't he supposed to be your ally? Right? It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Right? So those same nations that you're supplying your thermonuclear missiles to, and all these missile defense systems, and you pretty much supplying these nations with military aid, they're going to turn their back upon. They're going to turn their back against you too. It's not their will. It's the will of the Lord. Right? Verse 17, for the Most High have put in their hearts, which is their mind, to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. So now let's go to Proverbs 21 and 1. So it said they're going to fulfill the will of the Most High, right? Proverbs 21 and 1. The king's heart, which is his mind, is in the hand of the Lord Yahweh. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. And we read in Daniel the 4th chapter that what? The Lord ruleth in the kingdom of men. So he controls their mind. He controls their thought. Matter of fact, let's get to Ezekiel 38. Ezekiel chapter 38. Where's that one verse that I specifically want? Verse 10. Ezekiel 38 and 10. Thus says the Lord power. It shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And that's pretty much when you watch that Tucker Carlson and Putin interview. That's what Putin was saying. They kept expanding, and it was a line that we just couldn't cross. Like we couldn't continue to surrender and retreat. No, the Lord put the hooks in their jaws. Let's read this in the NLT, and then we'll go jump back up. But it was ultimately to the point that the Lord, he put that evil thought in his mind. Okay, the Lord ruleth in the kingdom of men. The heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord. So the Lord turned the mind of the Russian elites, of Putin. He gave him a warlike spirit. Why? Because it's time for him to fulfill prophecy, just like Alexander. You know, the Lord had his angels working on the mind of Alexander and putting his spirit to move with Kohler to defeat this great Persian Empire. Why? Because it was prophecy, right? Even before he was on the scene, it was already ordained. The angel revealed that into Daniel, man. Okay? NLT Ezekiel 38 and 10. This is what the sovereign Lord Yahweh says. At that time, evil thoughts will come to your mind, and you will devise a wicked scheme, right? And ultimately, it's not a wicked scheme. It's just that the Lord put that spirit of war upon him. And now let's jump back up in this chapter, and it's going to bring it out. Ezekiel 38, and we'll start at 3. And say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So, Russia, they couldn't chill if they wanted to. Why? Because the Lord put the hooks in their jaws. The Lord mustered the host to the battle. Okay, hosts going into armies. That's why he's known as what? The Lord of hosts, the Lord of Sabaoth. Okay, NLT, I will turn you around and put hooks in your jaws to lead you out with your whole army. So the Lord is leading. The Lord is the one leading this damn devil, man, on both sides of the chessboard, whether they on the east, the west, the middle, the least of the flock, drawing them out. That's all the Lord, man. Wow, for the controversy of Zion, man, the Lord finna deliver us, Akim. Stay locked in, man. Look at all this prophecy taking place, right? It says, I will turn you around and put hooks in your jaws to lead you out with your whole army, your horses and charioteers in full armor, in a great horde armed with shields and swords. And what did Putin say? Hey, we've been developing hypersonic missiles and we continuing. We still making them to today. Okay? That's the Lord working on his mind and bringing them out to do this work. Okay? Uh, then it goes into to the allies that's going to be with Russia ultimately. But let's go ahead and get this closing precept. Amos chapter 3. No, it's like it's Joel. The book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 1. It says, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Okay, so that this is another precept that cut those imposters over in the land, because the imposters don't supposed to be in the land. I mean, the true Israelites wouldn't be in the land, right? They had been scattered, and the Lord would gather the nations there to judge them. And when you go into that word plead, to go into Shabbat, hence the word Yahweh Shabbat, Yahweh's judgment. He's gathering all nations there into what you would call the Levant, the Middle East, whatever you want to call it. He's gathering all nations there to judge them, right? For his nation, for his heritage, the nation of Israel. Let's read it in the NLT. At the time of those events, says the Lord, when I restore the prosperity of Judah and Jerusalem. So this is going to our prosperity being restored. This is going to the curses being lifted up off of us. This is going to our deliverance. Okay. I will gather the armies of the world. You see that? That shows that this is a world's war. He's gathering the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh Shaphat. There I will judge them for harming my people, my special possession, for scattering my people among the nations, and for dividing up my land. And here they still like that. You divided the land. You came in with your fucking Balfour Declaration, and now you bombing the Gaza Strip. Like, come on, man. Esau, you doing too damn much, man. Hey, man. Hey, we need the Lord to come back and to judge this devil. And all the prophecies is pointing to our salvation. You know. Hey, man, Revelation 17 in full effect, 2nd Ezra 15, 2nd Ezra 16, Joel 3, Joel 2, all these different prophetic scriptures, Jeremiah 49, 50, 51. Okay, these missiles are finna fly. These armies are being gathered, and all in the name of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. So call Halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai and the water Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, man. We're in a great position, Akim. Stay locked in, continue to be occupied in prophecy, and and pray to the Lord to keep us and deliver us in this rough time that we're coming into. All right, so with that, I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone, whom I learned from. Peace and salutation to the elect. Shalom.